There are 100 to 300 million street children in the world. These street children are those that live in the streets with either no known family or families that have abandoned them, runaways, different situations. The causes are abandonment, war, migration, family breakdown. The causes are numerous, but 3 million of these 300 million live in Russia, in the big cities such as St. Petersburg, Moscow. They live in the sewage, they live in the pipes, they live in abandoned buildings, pretty much anywhere where they can go and be unnoticed. Because these children spend a lot of time without their biological families, or perhaps they're disconnected from them, they tend to form gangs or join gangs. They do this for protection, they do this to have a support group, they do this to have a sense of belongingness that they wouldn't have because the family is not there. So they create pretty much their own family. I spent some time in St. Petersburg, Russia, with a certain population, actually with a few gangs out there, and I got to know them, and I got to know a little bit about drug use is something that's also very common among them. They usually don't buy their drugs, but what they do is any inhalants they can get their hands on, for example, glue, paint thinner. This helps with the cold winters, it helps with hunger, it helps when there's much to forget. Many of these children are abused, neglected, usually abused by their own family or people on the streets. They're commonly forced into prostitution. They either prostitute or they're raped, boys and girls alike. They trust very few people, even amongst themselves. It's hard to trust. They usually have attachment issues. They are psychologically, many of them are underdeveloped. They have a hard time working in groups. They're very self-reliant, so they usually reject help. I went with a group called Micaiah Ministries, and what they did is they built a home that houses about 12 street children and some workers. They have a long-term care provider for them, so they can have a sense of family and belongingness. They're developing these children psychologically, spiritually, and in many other ways. They're doing a work out there in just south of St. Petersburg, Russia. They pull the kids out of the city life out in the streets, and they take them out to the village, and they seek to rehabilitate many of these so they can plug them in back to society. It has been said that the measure of a society is what they do with their young and what they do with their old. And the question remains, how will we react to this problem?
My soul in silence waits, like the willows weeping low, crying out.